All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. Okay, I've had an intruder. I'll show you who my intruder was. So we had the dum hummingbird, but all this mess, I had to kick some of it out of the way. Look, some mess behind here. Somebody was doing something. I think that was Mr. Skunk. I didn't think he'd be able to smell that stuff in there, but there's like supposed to be 3 of them in there. I'm not putting out any food for the cats or anything like that, so I'm hoping they're not coming in, but I could have a slight faint skunk smell there. It's like, oh, so I got to deal with that today. It rained like crazy this morning, but the basement didn't seem to flood as much. I'm going to keep that back window closed for now in case the skunk is around. So picking up where I left off yesterday, but however, guys, mess a boogie. I'm going to be basically... Today's going to be a strange day for me because at 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock, I have to go down to the church. I forgot to bring my camera yesterday, but I survived the hornet's nest deletion. I had to climb up the ladder. The first shot, I was about 2 feet shy. The thing sprays like 15 feet. Steeple's like 30 feet, right? And I sprayed. I just messed up. Like, okay, didn't wake him up. So came down, got the second part of the ladder, went up. God, I soaked that thing, but there didn't seem to be many in there. So I think what they were doing was tearing parts of the nest and going inside the steeple and building nests in there. Because last year it was super active. None of my mouse traps seem to have any doom in them. I got to bait the mouse traps today. My brother didn't get down here to tackle the clothes, but I'm going to put all that out on the deck today anyway. Because I just got to get in. I just got to get it done, guys. Got to get all that swept up, all those shoes, everything. Got more bags here. Yeah, I got bags. I'll just bag up everything, put it out on the deck, let it stink out there. It's been cooler. I regret to inform you. I'll show you. I'll just show you. Okay, the weather, we went from scorching hot, like I said it would, and I said, I bet you right after that scorching hot, it's just going to get cool and cold. And it's been cool and cold, and I noticed it already. Way up on the hill there. Here, I'll see if I can. You can see it in the camera if you look dead center. But yeah. You see that? Yellow, reddish orange. A little bit of red over there. Starting to see a bit of yellow over there. Oh, a little bit of red back there. Summer's over, guys. Summer's over. What is that? Ever nice and... It poured so hard this morning. And I was like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go cut the grass over the trailer over there for my client. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go to church. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. And it's like, I'm sleeping until 10. And I got to come here. If I cut the grass, I'll cut it in the afternoon. Because I got to use the brush cutter for this round. Not bad in here. I'm going to open the windows a bit more. When it rains, I don't keep the window wide open because it's a pretty open window and the wind does predominantly come from this area, so I don't want the floor all wet. But the baseboard heater was on the other morning. To your questions, I'm pointing at you, not you. Never mind you. You're okay, but you're kind of weird. But you, that is crazy. Okay. I don't think anybody's ever done that. That's probably the most freakiest thing. Is that I wonder if that annoys people. You know, like trying to put my finger. Yeah, it's like somebody. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching. That's crazy. Why do I do stuff like that? Everything amuses me. You know, like I'm so easily distracted. You know. Anyway, bathtub. Yes, I will rip it out at some point and get underneath it and do all that. That's a next year project. This year project is operation, clean up, seal it up for the winter. My buddy Paul and I looked at his wood stove. I think it's going to be about the correct. I got to get the footage here to see if that stove would be big enough. He's got the Selkirk. He's got everything. I brought him in here. He's you got a lot of work to do in here. I said, dude, you should have seen it when I opened the doors in here a little over a week ago. So I'm going to do a little bit of work in here, but I got to play today. It's Sunday. It's a rest day. I worked yesterday. Paul and I worked yesterday. I didn't know if we were going to make it or not, but got it done. Didn't rain on us. I just talked to Amanda's better half and Said, yeah, I got some stuff for her. Said, okay, send her pictures. She'll say A or nay. She's the boss. So okay. But it looks like this 7-string needs to make a little bit of noise today. So I'm gonna do a little bit more cleanup. Again, you do little bits at a time, you know. But I definitely got to make sure that the skunks aren't gonna be gravitated to the to the deck garage here, formerly known as a veranda, or a porch, whichever you want to use. But I got to get see, tomorrow is recycling day, and my brother's going to be on the recycling for a bit. So I asked him, you know, does everything have to be bagged? Whatever. He says, no. He says, you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, he says you throw it in. So what I'm going to do with all the glass stuff is put it in like a box or a bag, smash the shit out of the glass, then put it in the bin, so I don't have glass all over the driveway and stuff like that. And then what I'm going to do, I could probably burn some box today, but it's a good day to do it because everything's wet. So, but I want to whippersnip around the barrel a little bit more before I burn anything else. I'm not saying it'd catch, but if it did, you know. So hopefully most of the recycling will be gone by tomorrow afternoon, depending if I get the whippersnipping all done today at the trailer, which I'll be using the brush Minotaur, yeah, as I call them. That thing's pretty cool. I tried to get it in Paul's car yesterday. It's just a little bit too long. So he'd have to put down his back seat, and he had stuff in the trunk, and so I thought, okay, so I just used regular Snippy Shark yesterday, or Nippy Shark. Snippy Shark is poor Snippy Shark is not feeling well, and I gotta get my my medical center, my mechanical medical center. My buddy comes in, he goes, "Oh, geez, there's stills everywhere." I said, "Yeah, there's some back there, there's some back there." We won't talk about the home light. Home light. Yeah, so we won't talk about the home light, but pretty much everything else in here is a still. I don't know what the one lawnmower is a Honda, the other lawnmower I'm not sure. So yeah, things are airing out. It's been a week, but I got to get like stuff like this out of here. That's where most of the dog hair, like look at all that dog hair. So I got to get all that out of here, but I can't get that out of here until I get this out of here. So once I get this stuff outside, I got to make room on the deck. That'll air out the closet. As soon as you move stuff, it takes about 2 days for that to air out, and then there's less smell. Like since I've taken the couch out, like that was probably 80% of the smell in here. The chair, yeah. My buddy's like, yeah, just like give it a good clean down, and then throw some, Febreze, what you call it, what you call it, dryer machine fabric things. They're little, laundry sheets in it there, or whatever those little. Yeah, I could do that if I keep that chair. I don't know. It's comfy. It's comfy. I got to be able to get all the smell out of it though. But no mouse doom there yet because I haven't baited it. I might bait that today. No mouse doom up there yet. And no mouse doom down here. But there will be mouse doom in this place for sure. Next to that, I'm going to concentrate, I think, on this. Well, first I got to concentrate on making a space so I can get to my tools. Because, like, I got all this out. Like, even taking this out, like, that stinks. But, it needs to be washed down or whatever. I don't know about the bed. Maybe the bed can go. I'll have to ask my brother if he wants to get rid of it. If he wants to get rid of it, I'll give it to Amanda. She can clean it up and sell it in her shop. And if she doesn't want it, I'll just sell it. I'll just, chuck it out. Another fan there. Is that what fan is that? Do I have another fan? Because I brought in a fan, I'm sure. Yeah! Oh, I'll have 3 big fans. Yeah, I've got to rescue the dehumidifier today. It's not hard to get to, but it's back over there. Over there. In the corner over there. Underneath the snowboard and stuff. I'll see if that one works. Because it's getting cooler weather, I'm not going to be able to leave the windows open all the time because of the guitars and the humidity levels and stuff like that. But to take down the humidity levels, I'm going to basically run the dehumidifier. That'll work. Hopefully that stuff is gone by next week. I'm gonna clean it. I'm just gonna put everything out on the deck except for the aquarium and the fish food or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I haven't fed the fish, so I don't know if anybody else has come down to feed the fish. They might be dead in there. Who knows? So the goal is to. I found some stump remover. That's going to come in handy. I wanted to get a lot more done today, but because of the church thing, and again, it'll get done. It's just, there's only so many hours a day. And my buddy and I were talking about a third guy, and then a kid the kid's back to school now, so we can't use the kid anymore. But this other guy, he needs some work, and I have 2 jobs. Thing is, I don't think he has the tools to get the whole job done. If he has at least brush cutters, which are in here somewhere, and I'll need those Monday. Yeah, they're right there. So my brush cut, those, as long as he has those, he can do most of the job. If he has a chainsaw, even better. I don't lend out my chainsaws. That's just no. Pay too much for them. Whippersnipper. If I have a spare, like my buddy has 3 whippersnippers, I now have 2 whippersnippers in the brush cutter whippersnipper. But like the thing is like to lend those out, I need at least 2 of them. I could lend one out for a fellow guy that whatever, and whatever. But the chainsaws are different. Number one, I don't trust anybody with a chainsaw because of how dangerous they are. Right, so if I haven't seen you working with a chainsaw or know your chainsaw history, you're not. I'm not gonna let you kill yourself with my chainsaw. Because and not only that, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna wreck my chains, and the chains are expensive. It's $11 for a resharpen on a chain, but it's just the fact that I don't have a vehicle to go get this stuff sharpened, and my saws stay in pretty good shape. So I mean, I do wear them out, but my big boy saw there, the MS400. What an awesome saw. Guys, you can keep your 500i. You can. Unless you need something that big. The 400 is like the 261 on steroids and slightly heavier. It's so good. You can work with it all day. It's just such a great saw. And coming from a guy who's used the 272, the 372, I'll take that over that any day. Unless you have really, really big stuff, who wants to carry a 20-pound, 25-pound saw around all day? That thing, fully loaded gas, I think was 16 pounds. About a pound a pound and a half to 2 pounds heavier than the 260 or the 261. It's right at that level where if it was any heavier, it'd be too heavy. There's no such thing as too light, in my opinion. But it's as long as it's stiff enough to be able to plunge the trees. But that thing is stiff enough. It's light enough, but yet it's stiff enough that you could plunge through a solid oak tree with it. And it doesn't matter. It's not flimsy at all. Mind you, the biggest bar you're going to run on that is probably the 20-inch, maybe a 25 if you're cutting smaller stuff. You just want to stand up while you're. But an 18-inch bar on that would probably be like a Ginsu knife. A 16-inch bar would be just absolutely insane. But it's powerful enough to run the 20. I'm going to just leave the 20 on it. So that saw is like my prized possession saw, right? If I'm only going to keep one saw, that's the one I have to keep. But that said, my other little saw is great for the brushing job. So what I'm getting at is that guy that needs a bit of work. Like I was telling my buddy Paul, who came in yesterday, he was pretty ecstatic. He's like, it's a lot of work, but hey, we can do this, we can do that, and all kinds of, he gets excited about stuff like that. He's like, oh, projects, right? The man never sleeps; all he does is work. We do stuff like this. You know what I mean? But anyway, that other guy said if we don't give him enough work, we're not going to be able to keep him, and we're going to need him. And I know next year, I don't want to be working 7 days a week next year if I can help it. Maybe once in a while I can do it, but I can't keep doing that at my age, right? It's just, you burn out. Like if you want to die and grow old fast and die, work yourself to death, right? And I just don't see the need for that anymore. You know what I mean? Well, I never saw the need for that, but like I've gotten ahead enough. The only reason to work that much is that you're way in debt and you're far behind. And it's like at 52, I'm not going to be racking up major debts. Yeah, the guy that's 52 has a midlife crisis, goes out and buys a brand new Corvette or a freaking, Porsche, 911 or something like that. Okay, yeah. Dates the, this 24-year-old stripper named Molly Mounds, whatever. Yeah, I get all those guys. That's not me. My midlife crisis stuff is going to be a lot more manageable and a lot more fun, And by midlife crisis, meaning I don't have an actual crisis. It's just, okay, what do you do? Like, for example, I'm trying to, I know I look kind of hideous right now. Is it close to normal? I don't know, but anyway, I try to grow my hair out so I can do one more last headbang, on stage somewhere. Just I want to do the windmill. I don't care if it's like that, just to say I did it. You know what I mean? Back when I used to have hair, I headbanged, but I didn't know about the windmill. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just YouTube heavy metal windmill. It'll explain it. You'll get a kick out of it, no matter whether you like metal or not. It's the funniest thing ever. Can I bounce it? No, I can't bounce it. Okay, I had a sideways video. This is a 10-degree video. You just have to deal with it. I'm so horrible. But at least it's in better resolution anyway. So yeah, if we can get this guy working a bit between Paul and I can give him. There's a couple because I don't have my vehicle. It's taking me longer to find a vehicle, and then this came up. So I got to be really careful with my money. Like I've got money saved in like a squirrel putting acorns everywhere. I got money all saved for this, saved for that. I've got a house fund. It's basically $20 a day that I put away, or if I can, every day that I work, if I make say I need to make about $120 to $140 a day to be profitable, right? And I take $20, I put it aside for living expenses. I take $20, I put it aside for a possible credit card payment or, disposable cash to buy. Say I got to get gas, or I got to get that blade for the whippersnipper, which I'm going to get, or for the brush cutter for the briars, stuff like that. Rather than putting it on the credit card, if I can pay cash, I'll always pay cash. And right now I have zero credit card debt, right? But if I do have to use a credit card, I'm already saving up for the next payment. So let's say I have to put $1,000 on the credit card, but I have $250 in cash to use as a monthly payment. So I'm still calculating it as if I have that payment, that $200 a month payment, but I use that up before I go to the credit card, right? And right now I don't have there's things I want to buy. There's always things I want to buy, more amplifiers. I'm planning the piano. I'm looking at free pianos, but I might have to pay to get it delivered, depending on the piano. But that's going to be after I get everything cleaned up here. The other thing is to basically, I've got a bicycle fund. That's $20. Not a week. I mean, when I get my pay, it goes, and then $20 for me a day. So I live very, very frugally, but it's the only way you can actually get your objectives met and I have a car fund, that's $20 a day, right? And then if I get anything like for example, all my GST checks and my tax refund, that's going towards the vehicle for now, but it might have to go towards some of the house stuff too. The hydro's still not my name. I have till October to get it into my name. My brother hasn't paid up till then, but I'd like the sooner the better. The sooner the better. Because then I'll know what my expenses are going to roughly be. Because I have two rents to come up with, down here and then up there. And once I get everything all cleaned up, there's no use in me telling you what I'm paying for this place right now. I'm renting it. I don't own it, right? But it's like my grandmother and grandfather's place, so it's family land. It's like the family estate, so to speak. After my grandmother passed away, it kind of went as in a family estate, and everybody contributes to pay the taxes on it and the rest of the land, and we share the rest of the land, which is about 250 acres, whatever. And my grandfather, I guess my great grandfather, had the same clause that every son would be allotted an acre, or son or daughter would be allotted an acre to build a house. So you know, like if I say if I make the pitch, and I'm going to do the work first, so I'll clean it all up, so that they see that I'm serious and say, hey, look, if you could sell me the house really dirt cheap plus 1 acre, and make a price for the barns. The barns are just as run down as the house, right? Those barns are probably 70, 80 years old, maybe older. Um, um, like it was the family land's over 100 years old, right? And the thing is that my relatives might say, yeah, well, okay, well, we'll give you the acre, give us this much for the house, give us this much for the barns. Okay, we're not really looking to make money on it. Just you know, it'll help out pay the taxes on the farmland for the next say couple of years or whatever, or whatever deal can work out. If they say, oh, okay, well, we want 300,000 for the whole thing. I'm 52. I'll never pay that off in a lifetime. I couldn't even make a down payment on that. It's just like I'm a poor man. Like I make $25 to $30 an hour and I'm still poor. Like how is that possible? But like if you add up the money I have right now, every cent just sitting there waiting for rent, waiting for living expenses. Plus I'm trying to get ahead on my living expenses, by a couple of months, right? I'm about 3 months ahead on my living expenses or something, which is not enough for the winter, right? So I have maybe 2 months of real. It's going to be a tough winter. It's going to be a really tough winter. And you say, well, just tighten your belt, guys. My belt is as tight as it's going to get. You know what I mean? The only thing I could give up to save money would be buying my Pepsi. That's it. That's the only thing I could give up. Like there's nothing. Oh, okay. Well, there's a movie night or eating out at restaurant. Like I'm already not doing that. Like I'm already at the bottom of the barrel, right? I'm underneath the barrel. Some people are way worse off than me. But if you were to add up every cent I have, including my living expenses that I have saved ahead, because that's going to be quite a bit. Maybe 6-7 grand in cash. That's it. That's the bank in cash and in what's in the bank. That's it. Investments. I don't know what my investments are at, but I can't touch those till I retire if I live long enough. And with the way the economy is, it's probably going to get wiped out again like it did like I lost 25 grand in 2008. It rebounded back to about 19,000 or 20,000, by 2018 or so. But I haven't followed up on it, so I don't know where it's at. But like it's not, like what's 20 grand going to be worth in the next 17, 18 years when I retire? You know what I mean? That's like a month's rent probably. Like at the rate we're going, like the inflation, basically, the inflation is almost 10 times what it was. It's 4 to 10 times what it was in 2008. So, you know what I mean? Like, so fast forward, like another decade and a half there. Yeah. God help us. But no, if I can get the other guy, I know we keep getting sidetracked here, but the goal is to get the other guy to finish up the 2 jobs on the side hill. Like I mean, I told the client that like I have to pick at it because I was already too busy when I took it on, but it was like I had the vehicle, so I was like, okay, when I did get a little spare time, I was able to do it. Like every 2 weeks or whatever, I'd go by. But right now, without the vehicle, it's taken me it's been over 3 months since my vehicle broke down. Since the vehicle before that broke down. Okay, so it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to call the guy, see if he wants it, and then I'll get a hold of the client and say, look, I'm going to, you've been waiting too long. I feel bad about that. Till I get a car, I can't get back to it. So, but I have a solution. and that is you'll have to work it out the price with the other guy if he's willing to do it. He might not be able to do as much as I can, but if you can at least get all the branches cleaned up, because it's something I'm going to have to do every year anyway, like clean it out once a year anyway. But the brush cutter is going to be quick next year because, nothing's going to be bigger than that, right? Right now, everything's like that size. It's trees, and then, pole arm chainsaw and all that. I'm going to have to get in there with that. That he could leave for me, but if he could at least get the brush out of there for me, plus, he's around my age, so I don't know if he'll want to work on a hill like that, but it is hard work filling up those trailers, but it's work for him. Maybe he, fills up a trailer, goes dumps it for them if he has the vehicle to do it. He has a vehicle, I just don't know if he has towing capabilities, but if he does, and they can show him where to dump it, he can maybe get 2 or 3 days of work out of that. And I'd be more than happy to, lose that money to somebody else if it keeps my clients happy, right? So that's the goal for that. Down here, just keep plugging away at it. I would like Operation Pine Sol to commence next week. Yes, the bathtub, as I mentioned, yes. To rip up the bathtub and get underneath it and take out all that, yeah, that's something that's going to be done, but it's not a priority right now. The outside windowsills is, I think I already showed it in other videos, where a lot of the leaking is coming. Like, I got to seal the outside windows, especially the kitchen one and the 2 bedroom ones. I got to get that stuff. So that's going to come out of the house fund, right? The wood stove, it's not a super priority. It might not be a priority till next year. So if I have to live with the wood heat or the electric heat for the winter, that's fine. But for me to buy 10 cord of wood, because I wasn't able to cut it, I could start cutting wood in the spring, plus all the stuff that I'm going to cut here. It all burns. Might not be nice stuff to burn, like Manitoba maples. The work, like it's okay to start a fire with, say, in the spring or in the in the fall, just enough to get the damp out of this, but it doesn't really kick off any heat. It's not a great. Manitoba maple, silver maple are probably the most useless trees. At least pine, you get heat out of it for 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Manitoba maple burns almost as dirty as pine, but without the heat. Poplar is fine. It burns really fast and there's almost no ashes, but it's gone in like 5 seconds. Great for like a fast fire where you don't want to fire all day, just enough to take the damp out of the house. So for this winter, I'll live with dehumidifiers and fans. And in the summertime, I don't have to worry about the heat. It'll be Operation Open Up I'm going to keep the attic hatch open until it's too cold or too damp to do it. So hopefully I can get it like to near the end of October with it. So that, because like the flow, even when the house is closed up with the windows slightly open and the attic open, it's still sucking all that air out of the basement up to there, and then everything up here is getting sucked out there. And then, of course, as many days as I can get the windows open between now and when it's too cold. Because once it's too cold, then it's the dehumidifier to deal with a lot of the problems. And I have a hunch of like a dehumidifier will take about, even in a basement, it'll take about a year to really pull the moisture out of the bricks. It takes about a year. Now, if you have a wood stove in the basement, it might maybe 6-8 months, and then everything bone dry. But usually by the spring, everything's bone dry. The rafters are bone dry. Everything's bone dry. The walls with paint on them like this, it's probably going to take about a year to really get the moisture out of here. With airing out as much as possible. Remember, like the house is still taking on moisture even as you're taking moisture away, right? So the dehumidifiers are probably going to run up the hydro bill a little bit, but if I can like get 2 dehumidifiers running, and I'll have one on this floor and one in the basement. The idea is just to get the most of the moisture out of here, so that and the best way to tell is just by your doors. Like the bathroom door is hard to close, right? But since I've opened this thing up about a week ago, I've noticed like it's made a little bit of difference even on the doors, because I got rid of the worst humidity. Now, things like the couch and stuff like that, these things, well, they're sponges basically. Your couch probably, you wouldn't think of it, but your couch probably has an extra 10 pounds of water in it. You know, it's not wet to the touch or anything like that, but there's that much moisture in the fabric. You know, you probably got an extra 10 pounds in there. I mean, it's an arbitrary number. Maybe it's 2 pounds, maybe it's a half a pound, maybe it's 13 pounds. I don't know. But it does any sort of fabric. That's where your smell, that's what your smell is. You know, like the must and the mold is dampness. It's moisture. You know, that's what it is. Moisture is water. So to lower the humidity level, I do have a hydrometer and a thermometer there, which is really, really good because it'll do two things. It'll give me an idea of, you know, like I say, during the winter, the house doesn't have to be roasting hot. The only source of heat my brother had in here was these baseboard heaters. But the thing is you know, he had the big one covered, and like they're almost all covered. So it's like he had to really crank the heat to get any heat in here. But it was warm enough when I came down. You know, like it was never, even on the coldest days, I'd come down and, you know, whatever, visit them, or, you know, whatever reason I'd have to come down here, and it was always warm enough in here. But it's just he'd have to keep it cranked up. Now with me having nothing on the baseboard heaters, that allowed the heat to radiate easier. The downside is there's nothing in the room. You know what I mean? Like once all this stuff is out of here, it's like it's going to be like a bunch of bare rooms, you know, and that's going to really make a difference in you know, volume, right? So, you know, it's more area to heat. Now that said, I can get a couple of little plug-in heaters down and put them on low in the basement just to make sure that my water doesn't freeze. I think my brother did that on the really, really cold nights. So yeah, it'll spike the hydro a bit, but that's okay. I mean, I can, you know, if it's 700, the max it's going to probably be is $700 every 2 months in the wintertime. But that's everything, you know, like, I mean, I don't know what the base bill is for the hydro. If like there's like, okay, it's like $150, then everything you use after that. Or if it's like, okay, no, it's a zero, you start off at zero and they just charge you. Because right away, like, the only thing running in here right now is the fish aquarium and the fridge, right? So when my brother, his last hydro bill is probably going to be like really, really, really low. You know, and like I say, they leave light. They, you know, they had so many things on. They had all kinds of lights running all the time. They had little, what's called, those little, you know, incubator lamps there for the, you know, the plants in the winter, and you know, like those things are plugged in all year round, right? So those things, they're now at home. So my dad's going to see a big boost in the hydro bill when, you know, because like I say, they still do stuff like that, right? So up there, but they're maybe not doing it as much, but you know, so they won't have as much running. But my brother's freezers also, so we have two freezers up there right now, right? I'm going to downgrade the fridge to a maybe a 3/4 size fridge. I just don't need a fridge that big. It's all that volume to, you know, like for a handful of things. What I usually do with a fridge is because like especially old fridges like that, they're going to be hard on the power for sure. Is I empty them out, and then like usually during the summer, it's like everything I have is like dry. You know what I mean? Or what I do is I fill up a whole bunch of pop bottles or whatever, jugs of water, and just take up all the space that's not being used, so that it's easier to keep cool. Right? The emptier your fridge, the harder it's going to run to keep cool, because it's got to cool all that space, right? So I'm going to probably downgrade that and at a later date, but that's like later date, right? I want to clean that fridge out today a bit, but I think I gotta wait till like next week to do the fridge. I'll get some stuff out of it just to get because there's some stuff going bad in there, but and I'm gonna have to, you know, air out, like unplug the fridge for a couple of days, air it out. That's gonna stink, you know. But I also don't want to attract those skunks in any more than what they're doing. What do it for time? Oh yeah, okay. I'll go a little bit longer. I don't know if you guys like the longer form videos or not, but there's gonna be a lot of as I get things set up and all that talking and all that. But yeah, no, things are coming along. Maybe I'll do some of the dishes today. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. It's just at 2:00 I gotta go to the. It's only about an hour and a half max. But then I get back here, I'm gonna grab the whippersnipper and see if I can start cutting that property. If I can get it done between today and tomorrow afternoon, that would be good. I got a regular client tomorrow, but that's like 6 hours, whatever. And yeah, I could go and just like get it done. Like it's going to take me about 2 hours to do with the brush cutter. So the idea is to get it done as quickly as possible, right? I want to get some of this other stuff out of here today, so I could, I can't wash the walls today, but I want to have the walls washed. I don't know if I have next weekend off. If I have all next weekend off, I'm going to see if I can get all the walls and the floors washed. Everything will be swept out. But today is just, okay, I got to get those bags of clothes out. The food cupboard, I'm going to wait until after the next garbage day. Because like what I can do with the food is go dump it over by the barns or something and draw the animals that way. It's just I don't want to have food sitting out on the deck because when I got here this morning, like the jars, I didn't think there'd be enough scent out of the jars for the skunks to come in and try to get into stuff, right? So I got to deal with that today. Make sure that they're not on there again. But the thing is that I'm gonna get some stuff cleaned up. The idea is to get these dressers and stuff out, get the pictures of those so I can send them to my friend, see if she wants them, and if she doesn't want them, then I'll see if anybody else wants it, and if nobody else wants it, I will bust them up and burn them. I'll take them to the eco center. I'll do whatever. I'm only going to keep the one dresser out of all that, so that's a lot of volume of stuff right there. It's sitting in my piano spot, right? My piano's either going to go there, which I don't think that's big enough, or over there on that wall. I think that wall might be better because there's no heaters there. You don't want instruments near heaters, directly near heaters anyway. But I'm going to get to it. I think that's enough blabbing for now. Days go by fast down here. It's like, and I do it at leisure. Like, if I were just to like really just rip into it, like once I get going pretty good. But like I got the garbage bags there that are full of stuff. The stuff doesn't stink. It's just the stuff that is, well, it does stink, but it's the stuff that I swept off the floor. So those garbage bags are going to sit there till next week, and then once those 3 garbage bags are gone, then there's really hardly any more garbage in here whatsoever. So the cool part is that all the stinky stuff is going to be out of the house, and then it's just a matter of, like I say, Operation Pine Sol, which, maybe once a month I give the walls a sweep down, or I stay on top of that. Maybe every 6 months I wash them down. You got to stay on top of stuff, right? The floors, they are wood floors, so it's kind of one of those things that you don't want to soak them because they take forever to dry, and but you do want to get the scent out of the floor. That dog smell is going to be the hardest thing to get out, but it will go away once you get the stuff that stinks like the dog out, including like all the dog. Like just sweeping actually makes a difference in the smell. Guys, like I told my buddy yesterday, he came in and he was like, "Whoa!" I said, "Yeah, you should have seen what it was like when I opened the door a week ago, because yesterday was a week, or a little more than a week and a day." And I said, "You wouldn't believe it." He goes, "Oh no, I believe it." I go, it's like 100 times better right now. So I'm not going to sleep in here until I get it all cleaned up. There's no point, you know what I mean? But the also too is to get the smell up before other things start taking on that smell, and then what do you do, right? It does take a while for it all to get wafted in there, but once it's in there, it's hard to get out. Then it's work to get out. So my goal is to get all the stinking stuff out, get it cleaned up, and then bring my stuff in, and then if it does take on a bit of a smell, I can stay on top of it, you know, just by keeping the place clean. All right. Enough lollygagging for you lazy buggerheads. Time to get some man work done. Hopefully I don't step on a skunk in the process. Yeah. Anyway, there we go.